Welcome back to my channel, Mostly Paper Crafts. Sorry, my voice sounds a little funny. I just got over a case of laryngitis. It has been a couple of months since I've had time to create a video or make any cards to share with you, so I'm extra excited to share with you today the May Scrapbook and Cards Today sampler, as well as a bunch of projects that I created with it.
For the May SCT sampler, we always have a quote and a list of the things that are included in the sampler. We have a sweet die. It's a word die with the shadow, so those can be cut apart with wire snips. These are all of the elements that were included in this month's sampler. We've got some stickers and some paper die cuts. Lots of fun things here. I really like that big leaf. That little wood embellishment is like an embroidery hoop type thing. We've got a pineapple with a paper bookmark. I did end up cutting that bookmark off when I was creating my projects. Lots of cute little things here. Love the colors of these stickers. Those butterflies are beautiful. These can be cut apart and used individually. Love all these word dies, and a lot of these elements can be used in collages, which you'll see me do on my cards. Now we'll take a look at the pattern paper. This is always my favorite part. I love pattern paper. I have so much pattern paper. And if you're anything like me, it's easy to hoard it because it's so pretty and you're like, oh, I don't want to use it. I only have one sheet of this. So some people I know buy 2 sheets of everything that they like so that they can feel like they can use a piece and keep a piece. But I've gotten a lot better in the last year about using the pretty paper, because if I don't use it, nobody else will get to enjoy it, only me. And my stash it's way too big for me to continue at the rate I was going. These papers are lovely. I really liked this one here with the 9 different elements. You'll see these used individually on a bunch of my cards and projects. And I almost forgot, there was also a stencil in this month's sampler. It's got some X's and O's, and I will see what I can do with this.
The first card that I created used that cute window patterned paper. I put the less doubting, more believing sticker there. I used a lawn fawn scalloped square frame to give this a nice frame around the outside. And I added a white square on the inside as well as one of those stickers, just so there's a little bit going on inside too. I had a little left of that paper, so I created a mini slimline. This is a 3x6 card. So I used a rectangle of the paper that was left and a sticker that had 3 hearts. So this card has no sentiment, but very cute the way that it is, and now it can be used for many different occasions. I did make another mini slimline. I used a few of the patterned papers and a couple of the elements from the kit. This element is popped up on some thick foam squares. I did use some stitched rectangle dies from Lawn Fawn. These are from the mini slimline set. And then this is another 3x6 card. This card features a square from one of those 6x6 pages. It had 9 little squares with different elements on them, and I liked this sentiment, keep learning, keep growing. We've got a couple pieces of the patterned paper. This pink paper, I believe, is also from the sampler, maybe from my stash. The cream and the green cardstock definitely are from my stash. This is a standard size card at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. This card features a bunch of different elements from the sampler. We have a raised ring here, as well as this raised little butterfly. Everything else is flat on the sheet. But I've got a little scrap of paper, as well as a couple of the cute little elements. I really like cutting my paper to 4 by 5 1/4 so that I get a nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. So you'll see I do that on a lot of my cards. A nice simple design, just kind of collaging some of the elements together. And this next card kind of has that same feel where I collaged a bunch of the elements together, and it has that nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. my always take the scenic route was punched with a circle punch. It was also out of that sheet that had the 9 different images and sentiments there. But I love all the different dimension and cute little stickers and elements to this card. There's a lot going on here, but just a nice little card to send to someone for not particularly any reason, just to make them smile. I thought this one turned out really cute. We've got Hello Sunshine. These were part of the bigger elements. There were 4 different sentiments on the arrows, and I just trimmed them apart. I liked these stickers with this pineapple. The pineapples popped up. Then I've got some of the little dots that were included, and again, that nice border. And since this is on black, I did include a rectangle on the inside so that I can write my message. For this next design, I did use a lawn fawn stitched rectangle to get the nice stitching detail around the outside. This paper is from the sampler. We've got this big leaf from the sampler, and all of these stickers are from there as well. I loved this leaf pattern, and there was a paper with that pattern as well. And I liked this extraordinary die cut. So I just found some letter dies in my stash and cut out B and tried to mimic the gold bottom to that. I did use some glossy accents over the top, and then I went through with some gold stickles and added some extra little elements there. Be extraordinary. I love these tiny little cards. So this card is half of a 6x6, so it is 3x6, and you just fold it in half. Oftentimes when you're creating a card like this with double-sided pattern paper, you will need to include a little square on the inside so that you have a place to write your message. This is a great way to use those 6x6 pattern papers. It's cute on both sides, and a lot of times when we write messages to family members or coworkers, just a cute little note on their desk. It doesn't have to be anything huge and fancy. But we have another one of the squares from that sheet with the 9 different images and sentiments. I added some stickles to my flowers just to give it a little shine, and I added a green mat from some cardstock in my stash. I love the way that this next card turned out. The sweet die, of course, was included in the sampler. This popped up element was the wooden embroidery hoop, and I added this you and me circle to it. I also added some stickles to everything, to the flower centers, to my sentiment. The you are dies from my stash. I used a lawn fawn stitched rectangle to get the nice stitching detail. I added a piece of green cardstock from my stash that has a nice shimmer to it, and this is on a pretty pink card base. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Really happy with how this one came out. I have one more mini slimline. You are adorable. You are, that's from my stash. It's the same you are as this, just with a shadow behind it. And the stickers and the pattern paper, the adorable, and this paper behind that, those are all things from the sampler. We've got this mounted on green cardstock. It's pretty dark, so I did add a rectangle on the inside so there's a place to write the message. Love the stitching detail. Love that this is simple, but would definitely make somebody smile. I have just a couple more projects to show you. So I ended up with a few more sentiments that I thought went together well with the suite. I added my you are one more time. The ... that's just some black Nuvo drops. We've got sweet, beautiful, lovely, fabulous, and one little piece of that foliage pattern paper that I liked so much. I will tell you, I thought I was just going to use love on one of my cards, so I cut off the LY, but I don't think anybody's really going to notice that. They're just going to think, oh, it was so nice, somebody sent me a card. So you're sweet, beautiful, lovely, and fabulous. My last card features a couple of things from old samplers. I was struggling at the end to finish a couple of my projects, so I was trying to look through some elements from other samplers I've gotten in the past, and I found this little you shine sentiment, which works perfectly with the sunshine. This was part of a patterned paper, and it was a sun, But in order to incorporate it onto this card, I chose to use a stitched circle die to cut it out. Hopefully it still looks enough like a sunshine that they would get it. We've also got some stars here, stickers from this sampler. This pattern paper is from the sampler, and the green cardstock is from the stash. But if you look closely at the background, you will see that I used the stencil, but I did it in a repeated pattern, so it doesn't really just look like the X's and O's, but instead it just gives it sort of a textured background that's pretty nondescript. It's not going to draw too much attention, but I liked the way that it worked with these other elements. The last thing that I made with this sampler was a bookmark. I almost always will make a bookmark. I love this die from Avery L. What is yours will find you. I did use some glossy accents on my butterfly sticker. I did use some stickles to add some shine there, and I like using pattern paper for bookmarks like this because the design looks nice on both sides. And before I send this off, I will definitely add some twine or ribbon to finish it off. When I was done with my projects, I still have quite a bit left from the sampler. Of course, the stencil is not in there. Whoops. The stencil is something that can be reused over and over and over again, as well as our sweet die. I like to display these little quote cards in my craft room, so that will end up there. Maybe someday these will make their way onto some card fronts, but then for the remaining elements, I didn't have much in the way of stickers. There's just a couple of little scraps of things, a couple of little stickers, not too much, but I will hang on to these bigger pieces and use them for a future project. We'll take one last quick look at the projects. So I made a little 3x3 card. We have a bigger, I think this is 4x4 card using our beautiful window pattern paper, and a bookmark. We have 3 mini slimlines. All very different. They're all the same size, and all of them have some matting and some borders, but they definitely all turned out different, and it's fun to be able to get so many different looks from one sampler. We've got a bunch of A2 cards, 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches, so here are 3 of them. All very different from each other. And 3 more. I had a lot of fun playing with this. I have been so busy lately. I have not had much time for crafting or really anything fun, but summer is coming and I am ready to spend some time in my craft room. All right, and then the last 3. You are sweet, beautiful, lovely, and fabulous, and you shine sunshine. So all in all, I ended up making 15 projects. Yeah, 15 projects. Geez Louise. A lot of fun. I love getting this sampler every month. It's the happiest of happy mail because it's always a surprise. You never know what you're going to get. There are always tools that you can use over and over again. Sometimes it's stamps, sometimes it's stencil like this time. They've been including dies every month this year, and the pattern paper and elements are so much fun to play with. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Hopefully it won't be several months before I have another video out. I do have a lot of projects on the burner, including some things with my monthly hero kits, projects I'm creating for my October wedding, new products from Lawn Fawn are headed my way. So stick around if you're not subscribed yet and you want to see more, and make sure you do that now. Until next time, go make something beautiful.